You know, neuropeptides work equally for everyone. Neuropeptides are the chemical messengers that travel throughout our body whenever we think a thought or speak something, whenever we talk or think. And if we have negative thoughts, if we are bitter, if we are angry, then the chemicals that are produced in our brain depress our immune systems. But if when we think thoughts, we are loving and optimistic and open and have faith in life and in other people and in ourselves, then the chemicals that are produced at that time strengthen our immune system. It's as simple as that. Whatever we think is constantly having an effect on our bodies and our experiences. You know, for a long time, I really didn't understand the concept of we are all created equal, because that seems so strange. You know, there are tall people, short people, rich people, poor people. There are attractive people, unattractive people. There are stupid people. There are brilliant people. What do you mean we're all created equal? And then I finally got it. What that means is no matter who we are, the same thoughts affect us in the same ways. Anger is as toxic to a Jewish body as it is to a Christian body, to a Spanish body or a Chinese body, to a homosexual body or a heterosexual body. Anger is a toxic emotion. We are all, if we think in negative thinking, if that's our consistent way of living, we are guaranteed to develop dis-ease. If we have an illness and we will not let go of our past, if we will not forgive, if we will not heal our emotional wounds, we will not heal our bodies. And that is as true in every country, with both sexes, with everyone. We are all one, and we are all created equally. All this stuff about how we look and how much money we have, that is the outer illusion. But the internal process is exactly the same for all of us. All of us. Neuropeptides work equally. So next time you're letting yourself go into a pit of rage, try to stop yourself and say, no, wait a minute. I'm depressing my immune system. Is this what I want to do? Conscious living is what we're aiming for. Conscious living. See, we're all setting up our later years. All of us. I don't care whether you're 14 or 40 or 60 or whatever. You're setting up your later years. And two questions that I think are vital for all of us to ask ourselves is, one, how do you want to age? How do you want to age? How do you see yourself when you're 75? What do you see? What kind of a person? Alive and vital, or in a wheelchair? And the next question is, how do you want to die? How do you want to die? Do you want to die in a hospital bed with tons of tubes in you? Or do you want to, when it's your time to go, have a little party and say goodbye to all your friends and then go to bed and go to sleep? Wouldn't that be a better way? You see, we're constantly creating our future, and we need to think that far ahead, because what we're doing today has a lot to do with how that will be. How will it be when we're older? I'd like to see us all be elders of excellence, and each one of us using those treasures within us that I talked about at the very beginning. And you see, if you really believe, if you can trust life, you have faith in life, if you know you're filled with unconditional love, if you know you're filled with joy, if you know that within you is so much peace that nothing can ever hurt you, and if you know that all the answers to any question you ask is there, that whatever you need to know is revealed to you, then what difference does it make what our future is? It's going to be good. And we can be flexible and flowing and trust life. Takes a while to get to that point, though theoretically we could do it in an instant. It depends how much we're willing to let go of tribal concepts and all those limitations we were raised with. You know, I'm a very, very simple lady with a simple, simple message. Love yourself and heal your life. Forgive the past, move on, and live in today. You cannot have a wonderful today if you're holding on to the misery of the past, or even the good of the past, or you're terrified of the future. You know, the people that talk about the good old days and how wonderful it was and it isn't good now, remember, you've created both realities. And if you created good days at one point in your life, you can do it again, even if today is not that good. Get a hold of your thinking. Start to do conscious living, conscious. You know, life is simple if we let it be, but we make it so complicated. But if we really just understand that what we think is what we get, what you believe is what will show up in your life. But your thinking, and that's all changeable. It can move. See, what is the reality that we create for ourselves? I love these two images. Do we live in a dungeon of limitation, or do we live in a palace of possibilities? I like to feel that where I am is the totality of possibilities of all good. Not just yes or no or this or that. You know, we live and think in limited human mind thinking. It has to be this way or that way, or if it can't work this way, how can it happen? Well, the universe is incredibly smarter than we are and has the totality of possibilities to supply us with everything we desire, as long as we can believe that we deserve it. See, when we change our thinking, we change our lives because we drop our limitations. Limitations are what it's all about. And we've had some experiences that show us that we can drop limitations. You know, how many people here have heard of fire walking? We all know that it is totally impossible to walk on hot coals with your bare feet and not get burned. Now, we know that. And yet, there are people out there now teaching classes on how to do it and getting 20 and 30 people to do it in an evening. Now, if you have a dis-ease like cancer, and you attend a fire walk, as they call them, and you can walk on hot coals without getting burned, wouldn't that blow your mind totally? In that case, surely you could drop a small thing like cancer. We are in the process of moving beyond limitations. We all want to find that place within us where the bumblebee lives. I don't know if you have them here, but in the States we have something called a bumblebee, and it's a very fat little bee, and it has little short wings. And science says that that bee cannot fly because its body is too big for its wings. Well, the bumblebee doesn't know this, so the bumblebee flies everywhere. The limitation is not in the bumblebee. The limitation is in science's interpretation. And we all have that place within us where we can do things that we did not know we could do. But we have to give ourselves a chance. You know, I like to think of our thoughts like drops of water. One thought does not mean very much. It's like one drop of water on this stage. But I'm told that we think about 60,000 thoughts a day. And unfortunately, most of them are the thoughts we had yesterday and the day before and the day before and the day before. But you know, if you think of these thoughts keep dropping and dropping, 60,000 a day, pretty soon you can have a little puddle, a little pond, a small lake, almost an ocean. And if our thinking is negative, we can drown in a sea of negativity, or we can float on the ocean of life. It is up to us totally. I think I have taught myself to think primarily in positive affirmations. And yes, it is a little bit of work to change our thinking, to be conscious of it, to be aware of what we think and what we believe. But once we can do that, it makes a tremendous difference. Now, you know, we talk about affirmations a lot, which are positive statements. But what people don't realize is that every thought we think and every word we speak is an affirmation. You've been doing affirmations all your life, but you've been doing them unconsciously, and a lot of them have been very negative. So we need to look at what is it we really believe so we can make the changes. And that's why I say to people, take a large piece of paper and write on the top of it what I believe about men. And then take another piece, what I believe about women. Another piece, what I believe about children, what I believe about life, work, finances, marriage, relationships, money, health, aging, the church, my family. And just start writing things down. Whatever comes to your head, no matter how foolish it is, write it down, write it down. And it may take you almost a week of going back to these papers to finish them. But when you see them and start looking at the lists of what you believe, you will be amazed. And some things that come up, you'll say, oh, I couldn't believe that. But if it comes up, there is a part of you somewhere in there that does believe that. So then you want to look at your lists for all the negative things that you believe and either make a decision to eliminate them totally, let them go. You know, ask yourself, is this the belief I want to have run my life? And then turn those negative things into positive affirmations. Once you see what you believe, you'll know the things that support you and are very good and powerful for you, and you will also see the things that are undermining you, the beliefs that are keeping you from having what you say you want. So many of us live in the limitations of our past consciousness, the limitations of our parents' belief systems, the limitations of the schools, the teachers at school, limitations of the church. There are so many things that we have in there. And I like to use as an affirmation, I go beyond the limitations of my parents or whatever. I go beyond that now. Because, you know, even if you had the best parents in the world, they had limitations. And you want to create the most powerful life you can possibly create for yourself. We want to sort of unplug our circuits. It's like there's parts of it that have almost like tubes connected to the past, to the bondage of the past. And we want to bring those back in, call our spirits back, call our power back. Because as long as we are in bondage to the past, we cannot make changes in the future. I think it's very important that we use the tools that we have learned. If you read a book, you go to a class, listen to a lecture, have a tape, use that stuff. Don't just read it and say, oh, isn't that a nice book, and then go on in the same old way. If you can walk out of here today with one sentence that I have said that you really practice and work with, you will change your life for the better. But we must use the tools that we have learned. We want to trust the process of life. You know, just as your body is always aiming for absolute optimum health at all times, no matter what we do to it, so it is with life. Life is here for us if we trust it and have faith and power in the process of life. I like to think of the process of life as here for me. And it has taken me time to learn that. And I still have problems. Everybody has problems. I have learned to deal with them in a different way. And I'd like to share this with you. I would like to get as many people dealing with their problems in this way rather than the old ways. When a problem comes up for me, as quickly as I can get a hold of my mind, I say, all is well. Everything is working out for my highest good. Out of this situation, only good will come, and I am safe. And I will repeat this over and over and over again. All is well. Everything is working out for my highest good. And out of this situation, only good will come.